Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Deva, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarvalokanam Bhishaje Bhavaroginam Nidhaye Sarvavidyanam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Hara Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva Sadguru Charana Ravindabhyam Namaha. With the unlimited divine and kind grace of Devi and the bountiful blessings of Paramacharya and my Guru Mandalam and our Guru Mandalam, today we are going to discuss an introduction to Traipura Siddhantam and the 36 Tattvas which are enshrined therein. Traipura Siddhantam is typically narrated by Guru to Sishyas at the time of Purnabhisheka and Deeksha. Traipura Siddhantam is part of a Tantra Shastra called Parasurama Kalpa Sutram. We all know that there are multiple Tantras. Adi Shankara in Saundarya Lahari refers Sadashiva Tantraihi. He says there are 64 Tantras. They are not independent. Devi, because of your kindness, so you are bringing in another Tantra for the benefit of the mankind. So each Tantra has multiple texts under them. Some of them are accepted by some of them not accepted by many. All these continue. Parasurama Kalpa Sutram is one of the texts of Sri Vidya which is widely accepted by many and regarded and followed. It is in the form of what we call as Sutram. What is Sutram? Sutram is aphorism. That's what we call in English. What is aphorism? It has simple small sentences with very few words. Notwithstanding the fact that it has only limited use of words, it is comprehensive, it is cohesive, it's complete, it's meaningful, it is universally applicable, it is irrefutable, and in that sense, therefore, comprehensive. The term Sutra is defined in Shastras as Alpaksharam, Asandigdham, Saravat, Vishwatomukam, Astobham, Anavadhyam cha, Sutram, Sutravido Viduhu. So the meaning of this verse was just I narrated to tell you that it's a use of very limited number of words, but despite that, it is irrefutable, universal in application, comprehensive, and comes with a free flow, uninterrupted free flow. While it has all these qualities, certainly it is not exhaustive because it uses minimum number of words. So the exhaustive explanation of a sutra is typically given by others called as Bhashyakaras. What does the Bhashyakara does? He looks into the meaning of the sutra and in line with the sutra explains them while also putting across his own views on that. Sutrartho varnyate yatra padaihi sutranusaribihi swamadani cha varnyante bhashyam bhashyavido viduhu. So if we have to understand Parasurama Kalpa Sutra, necessarily we will be referring to some bhashyams, which of course will be explaining the sutras and will also have some amount of view superimposed by the Bhashyakara on it. We should have that in the back of our mind. This sutra was made by Parasurama for us. We all know who is Rishi Parasurama, one of the avatars of Mahavishnu, who after annihilating a very large number of lineage of Kshatriyas in this world for some reason and grabbing all the land from them, one day decided to give away everything, all the land, and then where will he live? So he created a land for himself called Parasurama Kshetra, went there to do what? To do Srividya Upasana. From whom did he get this Upasana? Directly from Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the person who gives the entire world the 18 Vidyas. What are the 18 Vidyas? We all know. 4 Vedas, 6 Vedangas, 4 Upangas and 4 Upavedas, constituting the 18 branches of knowledge, as we fondly call them as 18 Vidyas. And Shiva, who has 5 phases, from all his phases, one by one, he gives the 5 Amnayas: Purvamnaya, Dakshinamnaya, Paschimamnaya, Uttaramnaya and Urdhvamnaya. We all know there is one another Amnaya called Anuttaramnaya, which is referred to as a very secret text. What is so secret about it? Is it kept in a Swiss locker with 5-factor authentication to access it? Does that what make it secret? No. In Sri Vidya, when you say something as confidential or secret, what you mean is, it may be very much lying in front of you, unless you are guided into it by a guru, you will never be able to see the inner meaning of it. Without proper guidance, since you do not know what it refers, we will be seeing examples of it very soon. Unless and until properly guided, if you are not able to see the inner meaning of something, that is secret. So that is Anuttaramnaya. So that is Parasurama, and that is Parasurama Kalpa Sutram. And Traipura Siddhantam forms part of this Parasurama Kalpa Sutram. In the first Prathama Kanta, in the Deeksha Vidhi, this forms a part. And as we told, Traipura Siddhantam is typically narrated at the time of Deeksha to a Shishya. Why? What is the relevance? What is Traipura Siddhanta? Why it should be narrated at the time of Deeksha? So what is Deeksha first of all? What is the purpose? So let us try and translate what is Traipura Siddhanta, and we will know what Rahasya is. If I were to literally translate Traipura Siddhanta, it means the well-established principle of the resident of 3/4. Come on, every word is nicely understandable, but put together nothing is understandable. It is about the well-established principle of the resident of 3/4. What do we understand out of it? Simple. It's about yourself. You are the resident of 3 bodies which are encasing you. You are none of those 3 bodies. You are the self, and Sri Vidya is all about self-realization. We always use the word self-actualization in management terminology. Sri Vidya is all about self-realization. But I know who I am. Who are you? I am so and so. I am living here. No, you are not that. You are not that. You are yourself. You are your Atman. To make you realize is what is Sri Vidya. That's what is called as moksha. The goal of Sri Vidya is Devi Sayujyam, Atmalabham. And that's what Deeksha is going to give you. So what is Deeksha? Diyate Shivasayujyam, Kshiyate Pashabantanam, Ato Dikshedi Katitam Budaihi Satchastra Vedibihi. People who know all the sciences in this, all the Shastras, they tell you the word Deeksha should be split as Di and Ksha. Di means which one that gives, what it gives, Shivasayujyam, the oneness with the Paramatman. You yourself is nothing but Paramatman. To make you understand that, to get you Devi Sayujyam is what is the word Di means. How does it accomplish it? By taking away all the things which are curtailing you from going there. What is curtailing you? The samsara bandha. What is samsara bandha? The bondage that you have developed by the series of births and deaths which you are undergoing. So what? Let me be born and let me be dead. So what? You will see that very soon. You will see that is contradicting your own goal in life. You will see that. So, to actualize your goal and to realize self, whatever activity is performed is called as Deeksha, and in that Deeksha Prakaranam is where is Traipura Siddhantam, and it is about yourself and your resident of three bodies, you need to realize that you are not those three bodies and you are something else. You are the Paramatman. And what will you get out of that realization, you will very soon see. How will you see that? When we want to do any action, particularly studies, we should be very clear about four things. They are called as Anubandha Chatushtayam. You should know who is eligible for that study. You should know what are the contents of that study. Third, what is the connection between the content and the person who is eligible for that study. Fourth, and if you are one among them, what is in it for you? This sentence we all have heard multiple times, right? We don't do anything anywhere without knowing what is in it for us. At office, if we are given some work, we immediately ask, what is in it for me? If there is nothing in it for me, why am I doing philanthropy here? That's what we say, right? Prayojanam anuddishya na mandhopi pravartate. Not even an idiot will enter into an activity which is not going to give something back to him in return. So what is in it for you is a question which you will typically ask when you are asked to do an activity. Here you are being asked to get into the contents of something and learn. Why you should learn is a question you will ask. Out of the four things which I enumerated, I will take the last one first. What is in it for me? Let me, before answering it, ask a question. What is that everybody is looking for in life? That's a very simple question to answer. We will say, well, this is very simple. I am a very simple human being. I have very simple wants. I want to have a meaningful and interesting and joyful life. Right? So then the question will be, how do you want to get it? How do you plan to get a simple, meaningful, joyful life? Then people will say, you know what, at a micro level it is very simple. I want a promotion. I want some car and some house, and I want my granddaughter to get married, or I want my daughter to get married, son to get married, this, that. So you have a list, right? At a micro level, when you are asked, how do you plan to accomplish a meaningful, joyful living, you give a big list. At a macro level, if you are asked, you tell it's very simple. I don't want to have any sufferings. I want to ward off all sufferings, and I want uninterrupted, peaceful bliss. I want to live a life of peace and bliss uninterrupted with no sufferings. It's called as dukkha nivritti and sukha prapti. If you look at anybody, anything, any living thing, the expectation in life is nothing but dukkha nivritti, no sufferings, and sukha prapti, uninterrupted, peaceful, bountiful, blessed life of bliss. You said that you are planning to achieve it through your micros, like by getting your house, by getting your car, by getting your daughter married or son married or you married, on and on and on. Do you think you achieve it? Do you think you ever get it? You may answer, well, you know what, sometimes yes, sometimes no. When yes and when no? Well, actually, when I accomplish what I want to, when I get those objects or those objectives with which I start, I think I have bliss. How long? Well, for some moments. What happens after that? I don't know what happens. Again the sufferings start. If you look at it, never you have had uninterrupted peace. Never you have had uninterrupted bliss. Sometimes it's a life with a string of sorrows interspersed with some amount of happiness here and there. Adi Shankara in Subramanya Bhujangam says, Aham sarvada dukkha bharavasannaha. Always I am somehow inundated with a big amount of sufferings which is coming and putting a lot of stress on my mind. Who says this? Adi Shankara. He is a sannyasi. Of course, he would not have had this type of dukkha bhara. He is talking about us. But why? Why is that momentarily you get a glimpse of bliss when you think you have achieved what you wanted to achieve, and why it is not permanent? You wanted a car, you got a car. You wanted a house, you got a house. You wanted somebody to get married, you got them married. So if that was the objective, you should permanently remain happy. Why it's not happening? Multiple things. You are wrong when you say those objects bring you happiness. Those objects are not sources of happiness. Only those objects, when they are related to you, it makes you happy. For example, if your neighbor gets the car which you wanted to, you think you'll be happy? If car brings happiness, neighbor getting a car should make you happy. You know what you will feel, what I will feel. Right? Certainly it's not amongst those feelings called as happiness. So objects by themselves are not bringing in happiness or joy. Only when they are associated with self, you get happiness. What was the process of you getting that happiness? Let us analyze it a bit. When you actually got what you wanted, by that joy, your mind was momentarily shocked. It stopped craving for anything. Your mind is the connection between yourself, your body and the world. The connection got snapped. When the connection got snapped, your body and objects, they all have lost relevance for you. The mind is snapped for a moment because it has got nothing to crave for at that moment. And when that mind was absent, actually the self, that is yourself, the self-effulgent you were self-evident. And you are nothing but bliss. You are bliss. You were able to see yourself and enjoy yourself. Then you found bliss. But the mind is a chatterbox. It could not keep quiet for long. For a moment it was shocked. It recovered from shock and started chattering. The moment the mind is active, happiness goes away, bliss goes away, because you are not able to see your real self. You start associating yourself with your three bodies. To differentiate that you are not the three bodies and you are the self is what is the goal of Sri Vidya, because Sri Vidya's goal is to make you enjoy the Ananda Anubhavam of Devi with her Sayujyam, and that Ananda Anubhavam is what is you are going to get by you knowing who you are. You may say, Acharya, nice try. Great logical explanation. But it becomes very difficult to comprehend and accept that when the mind snaps, I am able to see myself. Well, let me give you one more demo. Let's assume you get into a deep sleep. One day you come and you lie down in the bed. The next thing that you use when you are able to realize is only the alarm bell ringing the next day morning. Such a nice deep sleep. When you wake up, what do you say? Wow, what a relaxing, peaceful, blissful sleep. Who enjoyed that sleep? Was it your body? No. Was it your mind? No. It was a dreamless sleep. So who was enjoying it? Who is now on waking up telling you that you had a blissful, peaceful sleep? Who enjoyed that sleep? It is you. Unfortunately, at that time, you did not realize that you are awake. If you were to be awake, and if you were to be having the same amount of peace and bliss forever, irrespective of what is happening around you, that is Devi Sayuj. That is moksha. That is the goal of Sri Vidya. That is where Traipura Siddhantam tries to tell you who you are. So that is what you are looking for. That is what is in it for you. That's what you are going to get by knowing this text, Traipura Siddhantam, by understanding and realizing this text, Traipura Siddhantam, of which we are going to see a very small portion of only 36 Tattvas today. So that is for what is in it for me. But who is the Adhikari? Who is the right person to get this knowledge? Vedanta gives you a very simple statement. Tadvijnanartham sa gurumeva bhigachet samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtam. To understand that, let the seeker go one and only to the Guru. How? Samitpanihi, carrying firewood in his hands. Why firewood? Well, that's just indicative thing. What it means is a seeker who always keeps in his mind with all humility and all submissiveness to his Guru, what can I do to help Guru in his pursuit? Firewood is used by the Guru for his Nitya Karma. So if you carry firewood, it indicates your total attention towards what can I do for my Guru as Seva. So with the mentality of a Seva, when a seeker goes to whom? To the Guru. What is the Lakshanam for Guru? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Shrotriya means well read. Brahmanishtam means a good practitioner who has actually realized self and who practices whatever he is teaching on a daily basis. Not a theoretician, a practitioner, such type of a Guru, a seeker goes to him with humility and submissiveness, with always in mind a feeling what he can do for the Guru. The Shastras also explain what should be his quality if he has to get it. If he has to get it, he has to be, this is going to be a bit tough, Vidhivat Adhita Veda Vedangatvena. That is, as stipulated, a person who has read all the Vedas and Vedangas. When? Iha Janmani, Asmin Janmani, Janmantareva. Either in this birth or in any of the previous births. How? Kama Nishiddha Varjana Purasaram. He did lot of activities with no desire for the results. What activities he did? Nitya, Naimittika, Prayaschitta Upasana Anushtanena. He did all the Nitya Karmas, what he is enshrined to do on a daily basis. Naimittika Karma, special activities on special occasions. Prayaschitta Karma, such of those activities which are required to be performed by him for atonement of his sins. What happened because of all this? Nidanta Nirmala Swantaha. His mind became pure. When mind is pure, it is like a still water reflecting reality. What is reality? Yourself is the reality, and you are bliss is the reality. That can get reflected only when your mind is pure. How was it achieved? It was achieved by this. And he also has sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha sayeva pramatha. The person who is a seeker is sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha. What is sadhana chatushtayam? 4 essential ingredients to be found in a seeker. What are those 4 essential ingredients? Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. What is real, what is unreal, a person who can decipher. That is one important requirement. The absolute reality is self. All the other things are temporarily real. Iha amutra pala viragaha. Renunciation of the enjoyments arising out of objects in this birth and other births and other places. In this world and other worlds. That is not expecting anything as heaven or anything in return. That is Ihamutra Pala Viragaha. Shamadhamadi Shadguna Sampat. Shamadhama, Titiksha, Uparati, Sadhana, Shraddha, Samadhana. These are 6 qualities. We are not getting into every one of them because that's not our purpose at this point of time. And Mumukshuta, the eagerness to learn, the focus to learn about self. He is the person who is eligible. He is the Adhikari. Acharya, stop. I don't think I have all of this. So am I eligible? Am I the right person? Actually, I want very simple things, I thought by doing Upasana, I'll get some worldly pleasures as well. I'm not against moksha. I want to do self-realization. But I also have other desires. I'm a normal human being. Is there no place for me? The answer is very simple. You have place for everything. And you are the chosen one. Why do I say that you are one of the chosen one? Yasyano paschimam janma yadiva shankara swayam tenaiva labhyate vidya Srimat Panchadasakshi. Unless and until you are a person who is not going to have next birth, or who is Shiva himself, you would not have got this wonderful mantropadesha of Panchadasakshari. So that in itself makes you eligible. Then you will ask a question. Do you mean to say that all the people who have gotten Panchadasakshari are going to get moksha? Not necessarily. Then how? Well, because of previous births and your punya, you are adhikari for getting this upadesha. And you have got it. And after getting it, you need to do some efforts to take it to the next level. If you don't take it, you are wasting your birth. Sopana bhutam mokshasya manusham prapya durlabam yastarayati na atmanam tasmat papatarotra kaha. That's what Kularnavam says. You have got this human form which will help you to go to the next level, and you are one of the chosen few. But if you don't use it, then what's the use? You are missing an opportunity. That's fine. You have answered that question about adhikaritva. I am a simple soul. I have lot of desires of worldly pleasures. They are nothing which are against the law. I just want some pleasures. Is this wrong? Not at all. Yatrasti bhogo nacha tatra mokshaha. Yatrasti moksho nacha tatra bhogaha. Sri Sundari sevana tatparanam bhogascha mokshascha karasthayeva. Typically, when you look at it, you feel wherever bhoga, enjoyment is there. Beware, enjoyment means joy plus sorrow. It is not only joy. Yatrasti bhogaha nacha tatra mokshaha. Typically, there is no salvation there. Typically, when you talk of salvation, there is no enjoyment. That is typical. Sri Sundari sevana tatparanam. The path that you have chosen, Sri Vidya, where you do worship of Sri Sundari, Sri Tripura Sundari, the beauty queen of the three forts, who is above the three forts, who is inside the three forts, who is nothing but the self, who makes you realize the self, who makes you one with her, and who gives you all the bliss in your life. Sri Sundari sevana tatparanam bhogascha mokshascha karastayeva. The choice is with you. You want to opt for bhoga, you get bhoga. You want to opt for moksha, you get moksha. In fact, Devi Mahatmyam goes one step further. In the 12th Adhyaya, in the Palashruti, after Devi has completed telling what all she will give you, Markandeya tells you, Sayachita cha vijnanam tushta ruddhim prayachati. Bhaskara Raya interprets it in a wonderful way. Sa, she, yachita, when asked, vijnanam, all the great knowledge, tushta, and becoming happy, riddhim, progress, gives. She gives progress and all the great knowledge when asked for. That is one meaning. Now he splits it. Sa ayachita cha vijnanam. She, when not asked for anything, when you worship her without asking anything in return, just because the simple pleasure that you derive out of the bhakti, the anuraga that you have in her, the lauhityam of her which makes you feel tremendously one with her and enjoy the bliss and joy. When you do that, ayachita, you did not ask for anything. What she give? Vijnanam, Visesham Jnanam. What is Visesham Jnanam? Brahma Jnanam, Moksha Jnanam. Sri Vidya is Brahma Vidya, Sri Vidya is Atma Vidya. She gives you unasked for. So you go and ask for big list of things, she gives you all of them. She is a mother. She also knows what to give, what not to give, when not to give. She goes on giving them, and in the process, she makes you prepared for getting into salvation. So you don't have to worry whether you are eligible or not. You are very much eligible. That's why you are sitting here. Otherwise you will not be there. When the right time comes, even without you asking, she will give you salvation. Bhavanitvam dase mayi vitara drishtim sakarunam iti stotam vanchan katayati bhavanitvam idiyah tadaivatvam tasmai dishasi nija sayujya padavim mugunda brahmendra sputamakuta nirajida padam. Somebody went to tell Devi, hey Bhavani, why don't you put your divine grace on me? Bhavani tvam dase mayi drishtim sakarunam vitara. That's what he wanted to say. He just started Bhavani. Bhavani is a noun in this context. Devi purposely understood it as a verb. If you understand Bhavani as verb, that means Devi, let me become one with you. Purposely Devi understood it as a verb, and even before he could give the big list, she gave him Sayujyam. Why? Palamapi cha vancha samadikam. More than what you desire, she is waiting to give you things. So clearly that is Adhikari. So we have completed Adhikari. We have completed what is in it for you. What is the connection between Adhikari and the content, and what is the content? The content we said is about the resident of the three forts. The three forts are the three bodies. What are the three bodies you are talking about? Well, it is Sthula, Sukshma and Karana Shariras. Gross body, subtle body, causal body. Again, as English, it's wonderfully understandable. A single English words. In totality, nothing is understandable. What do you mean by a gross body? What do you mean by a subtle body? What do you mean by a causal body? The gross body is what you see, which is made of flesh, blood, pittam, vadam, kabam, fat and what not. It is a various combination of all the five elements: earth, water, fire and what not, and this goes away. This typically has the six qualities. It was born, it exists, it grows, then it changes, then it diminishes, and one day it goes away. You were born, you existed, you grew from a 1 feet or less than 1 feet kid. As an infant, you grew to 6 feet, and that was growth. And then you changed. Once you had your head full of hair, today you are searching for it, or you take external help to fill it up. You were nice and slim, today you are different. When you walk, people say you are hiding their vision, right? Or vice versa. And at some point of time, things start coming down. The 6 feet starts becoming 4 feet, and one day it vanishes. It's called a Shad Vikara. Sthula Sarira is that which is subjected to the 6 Vikaras, and one day goes away. It is like a shirt. You wear it and throw it away when it is old. The wearer is the self. Shirt here is the Sthula Sarira. Before getting into Sukshma Sarira, let us get into the Karana Sarira. You are the self. You are nothing but Sachidananda Swarupam. But what you are thinking yourself as, you are associating yourself with the three bodies. Why? It is because of ignorance. That ignorance is what is making you do a lot of action and inaction, which you think is beneficial to you and not beneficial to you. And in the process, you start expecting some results. With the expectation of results, when you do an action or inaction, you will get the result. Who you thought as you, that is the body, which gives rise to birth and deaths. And by births and deaths, what you are getting? You are only getting interrupted joy with lot of sorrow, not the uninterrupted, blemishless bliss, which is what is your goal in life. So clearly, Karana Shariram is nothing but avidya. You are not that. When you remove the avidya, you will know yourself, Ananda Swarupi, Ananda Lakshana Brahman. What is Sukshma Sarira? Sukshma Sarira is made of 5 elements in Sukshma form, plus your mind and your karma and your vasanas. What is this Sukshma form? What are the 5 elements? What is this Sukshma form? The 5 elements we all know. Akashat Vayuhu Vayor Agnihi Agner Apaha Dhyaf Prithvi. Space, wind or air, fire, water and earth. And every one of them have one unique quality in them. Akasha has as its unique quality sound, Shabda. Vayu has its unique quality as touch. Beware, Vayu also has sound, but sound already is taken by Akasha. So the uniqueness is only touch. Agni has a form. Beware, Agni also has sound and touch. We all know what happens when we touch fire. But that is not its unique quality. Its unique quality is form. Same way water has taste. Same with the other things. It has a form, it has sound, it has also touch, but uniqueness is taste. And Prithvi is smell, which is Gandha. That's what we call Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. It's actually therefore 5 combination. 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. Actually, if you look at it, this is also one Panchadashi. This is also 115. Right? So, Panchabhuta in subtle form has 5 specific qualities. Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Your Sukshma Sharira is made of this 5 elements in subtle form, along with them the 5 Tanmatras, Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. And this Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha you are experiencing through your Jnanendriyas. That is your ear, skin, eyes, tongue and nose. Oh, by eyes you mean this? But you said that is Sthula Sharira, na? No, I do not mean this Gola, what you are saying as eyes, as the sensory organ. What do I mean by that? This is Sthula. There is some capacity inside through which this organ is made to see. That capacity is what I am calling as Jnanendriya, and that is Chakchush. So, Shrotra, Tvak, Chakshuhu, Jihva, Grana. So, these are the 5 things in subtle form. And these execute action through 5 Karmendriyas. Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upasta. Vak is mouth, Pani is hands and legs, and the through 2 organs through which we excrete and do many other things. These are the 20 things which we talked about. Now Panchabhutas, Panchatanmatras, Panchakarmendriyas, Panchajnanendriyas makes it 20, and of course Prakriti, which is the equilibrium of 3 qualities, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, with which the entire Prapancha is being seen, and Ahankara, Buddhi, Manas and Maya. These 25. We will talk about these technical terms in a few minutes. That is your subtle body. So you are neither the gross body, nor the subtle body, nor the causal body. You are above all that, and that is what is the content. Why you should know that? Because you are an adhikari to know that. You have got all the qualities. The relationship is by knowing that you are going to achieve your goal, that is self-realization and self-actualization. So you are eligible for Traipura Siddhanta. Though now you should proceed with understanding what is the content and what are the 3 shariras, and we have understood what is the 3 shariras. Now, if you are telling me I am not all these bodies, I am the self, and that self is nothing but Parabrahman as called in Vedanta, Paravasudeva as called by Vaishnavites, or it is Devi if Shaktas call it, whatever name you call it, or some people call it as Shiva, some people call it as Prakasha Tattvam, whatever name you call it, if it is all same, then if it is that is true for me, that is true for you, that is true for the neighbor, then it's all the same. But in reality, there are different forms and different names. Why so many forms? Why so many names? How it all happened? If it is all one and the same, and if it is all in only one place and only one thing, how so many forms and names came? Who created them? How did they create? What was the material used? Why did they use this material? These questions crop up. Understanding that will take you to 36 Tattvas, which is the most important part of our session today. So, the one and only one Parabrahman exists with all the individual selves, with their Pancha Bhutas in subtle form, Pancha Tanmatras with karmas and vasanas, in a dormant form in it at a time called Pralaya. What is Pralaya? When there is no activity, there is nothing. It is all filled and it's all only one and only one, the Paramatman. Can I see that? No, you cannot. You have to only understand it, conceptualize it from Shastras. In that situation, what is the status of Parabrahman? It is Nishkriyam, it is Niranjanam, it is Nirupadhikam, it is Nirmalam, it is Nirgunam, it is Nirakaram. What does that mean? Nishkriyam, actionless. Because when you do action, you expect something in return. It doesn't require anything. When there is no desire, when it has everything, when it is everything, why it should do any action? That is Nishkriyam. Niranjanam, it has no blemish. It is spotless. Nirupadhikam, it does not have any limiting adjuncts. What do you mean by limiting adjuncts? What is a upadhi? If a thing A, by coexisting with another thing B, makes B appear different, that is upadhi. Not understandable. Give an example. You have a Spatika Linga. It has no color. We all know that. You put a red flower behind that. The Spatika suddenly looks red. That red flower is a upadhi. Spatika has not changed, but by its mere presence there, by its coexistence with the Spatika, the upadhi A makes the Spatika B looks different from what it is actually there. That is upadhi. Nirupadhikam, no such upadhi can in any way afflict that. Without any afflicting upadhi is what is the Parabrahman. Nirmalam, it has no blemish attached to it. Nirgunam, it has no qualities. Nirakaram, it has no form or name. But if it is all that, why it has become so many? It has in a dormant all the souls with their past karmas and all their subtle bodies. They all have not yet attained salvation. Devi is Kripalu. She wants to give an opportunity to these souls which are dormant in it to get an opportunity to attain salvation and to enjoy the bliss and become one with Parabrahman. So she becomes a spanda, she becomes a vibration, she becomes a icha, she becomes a kama, she becomes a vichikirsha. These are various names. Inside that Nishkriya, Nirmala, Nirakara, Niranjara, Nirupadika, Nirguna, Nirakara Brahman. When that spanda comes, then there is suddenly some activity associated with this actionless Brahman. Here is a big amount of confusion that comes for people who try to read Vedanta and also Sri Vidya, because so many terminologies confuse the people. In Vedanta, it is all looked at in a very simple fashion. It is the Parabrahman, and when we analyze it, it is looked as Drik and Drishyam. This entire Drishya Prapancham, this Vishwam what we see, is divided as Drik, the seer, and the seen. The seen is all because of Adhyasa, Maya, that it is an illusion created by what is called as Maya. What is Maya? Maya is a upadhi. Where from it came? It came from Parabrahman itself. It comes from Parabrahman and it creates an illusion and actually covers the original form of Parabrahman and gives a different impression. How that can be possible? Possible. A cloud that is generated because of the warmth of the sun comes and covers it. Sun is not temporarily visible. When the cloud goes away, the sun comes out. The sun was in no way affected, but to the seer, it was affected. Right? So that is the Drishyam. Who is the Drik? The Drik is only Brahman. He is called by two names as Brahman one and Atma is another. When that Brahman is attacked or afflicted by, or rather covered by Maya, you call it as Ishvara. And when Atma is covered by Ajnana, our Karana Shariram, what we talked, he becomes Jiva. So it becomes Atma and Paramatma, Jiva and Ishvara. This is how it looks at. There is no confusion there, whereas there are multiple terminologies in Tantra Shastras to make it easier to understand, but if you follow two paths, you get into confusion. The Nirguna Nirupadika Brahman is called as Kameshwara in Sri Vidya. Nirupadiki Samvit Eva Kameshwaraha. Samvit is Sat and Chit. Lauhityametasya Sarvasya Vimarshaha. That is called as Lalita. What? That is called as Kameshwari. The Sat Chit Anandam, which you call as Swarupa Lakshanam in Vedanta, is called as a Upadi in Sri Vidya, and Satchidanandam is Kameshwari. That Satchidanandam Kameshwari is who is capable of creating the Spanda. So the Nirupadika Brahman you call as Kameshwara, and Kameshwari is the Satchidananda Swarupini who is capable of creating Spanda, and they are one and the same, they are not different. That's why Kameshwarange, that's what you say, right? When you do Avahanam for Devi, what do you say? You say Kameshwaranga Paryanka Upaveshana. She is in the lap. How she is sitting there? As if there is no gap between them. Kameshwara nicely embracing her so that there is no gap seen. They are one and the same. Va Kartaviva Samprukta. Like the word and meaning, they are so tightly enshrined. That is Kameshwara and Kameshwari. And that Kameshwara in whom that Spandam happens, this Kameshwari is called as Kameshwari because the Spanda gives Vichikirsha, the capability to act and the desire to act. So she is the Kama, the Ishwari of all Kamas, and the person in whom it comes is Kameshwara. That's why you call as Kameshwara and Kameshwari. That Kameshwara is also called as Prakasha Tattvam and Devi is called as Vimarsha Tattvam. At this stage, it is only a potent capability, it has not happened. When the desire comes, that is where it is called as Sisruksha. And that gets into the 36 Tattvams, which is what we are going to briefly see in the next 15 minutes, which is the time allotted. Because we started a bit late, I am extending it a bit late. Hope that's fine. So we understood what is the Vedantic principle of Jiva and Ishvara. Here we are talking about the 36 Tattvas. This Kameshwari is Icha, Jnana, Kriyas, consolidation Shanta. This Kameshwari is Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikari, their consolidation Para, and she manifests as Vama, Jeshta, Raudri. In a consolidated form, she is called as Ambika. She is everything and beyond. What is Icha, Jnana, Kriya? That alone I will touch. If you want to do an action, you should have a desire to do it, you should have a knowledge to do it, and you have to do it. That is Icha, Jnana and Kriya. All the three should be combined together and should be simultaneous. That is what is the capability, and that is what put together is called as Shanta Shakti. This entire world is seen as Artha Prapanjam and Shabda Prapanjam, the world of sounds and the world of objects. Both put together, it's what is this Vishwam. For Sabda Prapanjam, it is Para, which is Pashyanti, Madhyama and Vaikari, and for the Artha Prapanjam, it is Icha, Jnana, Kriya, which gets into Vama, Jeshta, Raudri. It's all put together is Kameshwari, and beyond is what she is, and she is Parabrahma Shakti, she is the Parabrahma Mahishi, as told by Adi Shankara. And there she creates a desire to create. When that Sisruksha comes, the birth of 36 Tattvas starts happening. The Parabrahman in whom the Sisruksha came is called as Shiva. When that Sisruksha came, the Nishkriya Parabrahman becomes a Sakriya. It gets into some action. So that Brahman which has the Vichikirsha manifested with Sisruksha is called as Shiva. the one who is responsible for creating it, the Vasna of Shiva with which he creates, that is called as Shakti Tattva. Already you have covered 2 Tattvas of the 36, Shiva Tattvam and Shakti Tattvam. The next comes Sadashiva. The moment Devi creates a spanda, the action to be manifested, it is zillionth and zillionth and zillionth of a second. Sankalpa matrena, that's what say. The moment the Parabrahman thinks there should be creation, there is creation. And creation means creation, sustenance and destruction. So the entire Vishwam is created. The feeling Sarvam Idam, Sarvam Vishwam, Sarvam Shaktimayam Jagat or Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat, if you say, all that is manifest, all that is seen is actually Devi. That feeling, that concept is what is called as Sadashiva. The oneness in everything is being evident is what is Sadashiva. The next come Ishvara. But actually, all of us, if we are all the same self, we should be feeling all one, but we are not. We are feeling that we are different. We are very different with our names and forms. That difference comes from what is called as Ishvara Tattva. It is this and that. Instead of all being one, now brings the concept of this and that, Idanta and Ahanta. Purna Ahanta is Sadashiva, and Idanta, this, that and various difference is Ishvara, and that comes to Ishvara because of Maya, which is what we discussed few minutes before. Ya ma sa Maya. What is not there, but what is being made look like that being existent is what is Maya. And that is illusion that came from the same Parabrahman, and it is trying to condition the Parabrahman and make it look different. Brahman cannot be conditioned, it is only appearing as different. That is Maya. That is the next Tattva. The Maya in Jiva, the Maya in ourself, which is in the form of ignorance, avidya, which makes it feel that we are not the self, we are the 3 bodies. That is the avidya Tattva. If you look at it, the Lord is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. He has sarva kartritva. He can do everything. He is capable of doing everything. He is ever present, trikala abadya. You can't say he did not exist in the past, present or future. He is ever existent, omnipresent. He is nitya tripta. He is always satisfied. He has nothing to ask for. He is desireless. He is passionless. Whereas you are very different. He is sarvantaryami. He is present everywhere. He is sarvagnya. He knows everything. He is swatantra. He does not depend on anybody. If you are the same as him, if your self is the same as Parabrahman, you don't have any of this. All these qualities are not present in you. Yes. What is present in Ishvara is not present in you, or you do not realize those presence in you, which are all the next set of Tattvas. The first set of Tattvas which we saw, Shiva, Shakti, Sadashiva, Ishvara, and all is one. That knowledge is called as Suddha Vidya. These 5 are called as Shiva Tattvas, and they are also called as Shuddha Tattvas because they are actually pure Brahman conditioned by various things because of which they look different. They are Shuddha Tattvas. They help you in getting rid of your Karana Shariram and your Karmika Malam. What is Karmika Malam? All your karmas and vasanas which come from various births, which make you what you are today, will all have to go away if you have to realize you are the self. That is Karmika Mala. You already saw what is your Karana Shariram. The realization and understanding of these 5 Tattvas will help you achieve that. That is about the first set of Tattvas. The next comes Maya, which we saw. The next is the Sarva Kartritva, the capability to do everything, is very limited in you as Jiva. What is Jiva? Atma plus Avidya is equal to Jiva. Atma is pure, but it is conditioned by avidya. Avidya is ignorance, because of which you are thinking you are the bodies. And that avidya, which we saw as another tattva, and because of that, you do not realize your sarva kartrutvam, your capability to do everything. You find limited, that is called as kala. Your nitya triptatvam, being satisfied is everything, going away is what is called as raga as tattvam. And you are actually never diminishing, trikala abadhya vastu, but you feel that you are here for a limited time and you are going away after that. That is called as kala tattvam. And next is niyati. What is niyati? The Lord is sarva swatantra, whereas you feel you are dependent for everything on everybody. That is niyati. And the person who has all this, who is conditioned by all this, that is jiva. So now what all you have seen? Maya, Kala, Avidya, Raga, Kala, Niyati. And the jiva is nobody other than Purusha. These seven constitute Shuddha, Ashuddha Tattvam. They are also called as Vidya Tattvam. They all are associated with Avidya, therefore they are called as Vidya. If you understand these Tattvams, you become knowledgeable. That's why it's called as Vidya Tattvam. Why it is called as Shuddha and Ashuddha? While they are actually inert by nature, they are capable of reflecting the true self. That's why it's called as Shuddha, Ashuddha Tattvam. Once you realize this, your Mayika Malam. What is Mayika Malam? We will see in a minute. Will go away, and once it goes away, you are closer to the self. Next comes the set of all the things which are Prakriti, Ahankara, Buddhi, Manas, Tvak, Chakshu, Shrotra, Jihva, Agrana, Grana, Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Pasta, Sabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Vaiva, Akasha, Vanni, Salila. The five Panchabhutas, Pancha Tanmatras, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Jnanendriyas. We have seen all of them. What we had not seen is Prakriti, Manas, Buddhi and Ahankara. What is Prakriti? The three gunas responsible for creation, sustenance and destruction, which is Rajas, Sattva and Tamas. These three gunas, when they are in equilibrium, that is called as Prakriti. When the equilibrium tilts and Rajogunam becomes predominant, the resultant Tattva is called as Manas Tattvam. And when it brings in a discriminating factor as right, wrong, this and that, that is called as Buddhi Tattvam. There, Sattva Guna is predominant. When Tamo Guna, the darkness, is predominant, that results in ego, what is called as Ahankara, where it makes you see what is in it for me for everything that you do, and what is in it for me by itself is not wrong, but what you are calling as me is wrong, and with the wrong me associating with it, that is Ahankara. These are the 36 Tattvas. Now we have realized them, and you are none of them. And what is Tattva? Tattva is not a simple principle that we are talking about. Tattva means the principles which are the first principles, and they are ever existent till Pralaya. In this world, for a jiva, there is a bhokta, that is the jiva. There is a bhogam, there is enjoyment. There is a bhogayatanam and bhoga nimitta, that is the cause for enjoyment and objects of enjoyment. All this can be divided into these 36 tattvas. And at Pralaya, all of them becomes none. And if you attain moksha, none of this makes sense to you. You cross all of them. And the first set, what we talked from Prakriti, starting with Prakriti, Ahankara, Buddhi, Manas, Tvak, Chakshu, Shrotra, Jihva, Grana, Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Pasta, Sabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Vaiva, Akasha, Vanni, Salila, Bhumi. These tattvas, this 26, they constitute what is called as Ashuddha Tattvas, because they are inert, they are Jadavastu, they are clearly encompassing the Sthula, Sukshma and Karana Sariras. They are limiting factors of the Parabrahman. Once you lose them, then you are towards the self. What is Anavamala, what is Karmikamala, and what is Anavamala, what is Mayikamala, what is Karmikamala is something which is left out. to say that the Paramashiva Swatantriyam is lost and the all-present, omnipresent Parabrahman is made to look as if he is encased in a single body. That is Anava. Anu is small. Anu say, from Anu comes Anava, and that type of a feeling is Anavamala. Mayikamala is engulfing the greatness of the Parabrahman and making him limited with various other Kala, Niyati, Raga, Kala, Purusha. That is Mayikamala. And because of which you assign a Kartrutvam to Parabrahman, that is Karmikamala. You remove these three malas. You realize that you are not the three bodies. You understand these 36 principles, and you understand you are not any one of them. You are beyond all of them. And these are all covers. The Shiva Tattva with all these covers has transformed into what is called as Jiva. We should not use the word transform technically. For our purpose, let us use the word transform. Is rather illusion to make look like you. That is what is all these 36 tattvas are about. When you understand all of them, and when you understand you are none of them, and when you transcend all of them, you realize yourself, and that is the purpose of Sri Vidya, to make you realize who you are. You are nothing but bliss, and that is what is achieved by the study of 36 tattvas. That is why it is told as part of Deeksha, and that is why it is part of Traipura Siddhantam. That's what you are going to become. You are in the right path to realize yourself. This is what I thought I should cover today. Hope you found it meaningful, and thanks for your patient hearing. Namaskar.